Most people fasting today are stopping at the exact moment the real work is about to begin. And the cost of stopping early is not that you lose progress. The cost is that you never see what your cells are actually capable of doing. There are 6 distinct stages of autophagy, and what happens at each one is so different from the next that calling them all by the same name is almost misleading. By the time you finish this, you will know exactly where you have been stopping and what you are missing. Stage 1. Around the 12-hour mark, your insulin levels finally drop far enough that a cellular pathway called mTOR powers down. mTOR is the signal your cells listen for when they are in growth mode, building, storing, expanding. When it quiets, a different protein called bclin-1 takes the stage. Bclin-1 is the supervisor of your cellular maintenance team. But here is the part nobody tells you. At stage 1, the team is not cleaning anything yet. They are doing the audit. They walk through every compartment of your cell with a clipboard, marking the items that need to go. Misfolded proteins, aging mitochondria, broken organelles that have been quietly sitting in place for weeks or months. Each one gets a tag. Imagine an insurance adjuster after a flood, going room by room, documenting the damage before the cleanup crew is even called. The paperwork is being done. Demolition has not started. What you feel during stage 1 is hunger, and that hunger has very little to do with your actual nutritional needs. It is ghrelin, a hormone that fires at the times of day you have trained your body to expect food. Most people interpret this signal as the fast being complete, eat, and shut everything down before a single damaged item is removed. Stage 2. Between hours 14 and 16, your cells stop identifying problems and start physically containing them. A curved membrane structure called the phagophore begins to form. It bends around each tagged component, surrounds it completely, and seals it inside a vesicle called an autophagosome. Think of it like a moving company packing up everything that was marked for removal during the audit. Each broken item is wrapped, boxed, and labeled. Nothing has been thrown away yet. Nothing has been recycled. The shipment is just ready for pickup. At the same time, growth hormone has its first major spike of the fasting window. This serves 2 purposes simultaneously. It tells your body to protect lean muscle tissue rather than break it down for fuel, and it sends a release signal to your fat cells, freeing stored fatty acids into circulation. Your body has now committed to burning fat for energy. But the packed boxes still need to leave the building. Most people fast for 16 hours. They consider it complete. The truck never comes. Have you been ending your fasts at 16 hours? Comment yes or no, because if the answer is yes, what comes next will change how you think about every fast you have ever done. Stage 3. Now the actual repair begins. From around hour 17 to hour 20, those sealed autophagosomes meet up with another structure called the lysosome. The lysosome is a small cellular organelle packed with more than 50 different digestive enzymes, each one designed to dissolve a specific kind of biological material. When the two fuse, the contents of the boxes are systematically broken apart. Damaged proteins are reduced to their original amino acids. Worn-out mitochondria are taken apart for spare parts. Defective cellular machinery is dismantled piece by piece. The salvageable raw material is then sent back into the cell to build something new. This is the part that distinguishes autophagy from simple destruction. Your cell is not throwing anything away. It is harvesting itself. The old structure is being torn down and rebuilt using its own salvaged components. Your brain cells, which are among the few cells you keep for your entire life, are particularly active during stage 3. Over decades, they accumulate clumps of misfolded proteins and cellular debris that quietly interfere with how they signal. Research published in Nature Medicine has linked this exact buildup to the cognitive slowing that most people accept as a natural part of aging. It is not natural. It is simply the consequence of a maintenance system that was never given the time it needed to finish its job. Stage 3 is what gives serious fasters the experience they often describe as a different kind of focus, sharper and steadier than caffeine, because the brain has shifted from running on glucose to running on ketones, a cleaner and more efficient fuel. This channel exists to fill in the explanations that you were supposed to get from a doctor but never had time for. If that matters to you, subscribe so the next one finds you. Stage 4. Most fasters never reach this stage, and it contains what may be the single most important cellular event in the entire sequence. From hour 20 to hour 24, your cells transition from general autophagy to something far more precise. Researchers call it selective autophagy, and one of its most powerful forms is mitophagy. Mitophagy targets your mitochondria specifically. Your mitochondria are the structures that produce ATP, the molecule that fuels every action your body takes, from a single thought to a single heartbeat. As mitochondria age, they become less efficient. They produce less energy, and they begin leaking reactive oxygen species, unstable molecules that damage everything around them. An aging mitochondrion is not just doing less work, it is actively making the cell around it worse. Mitophagy goes through your mitochondria one at a time, identifies the damaged ones, removes them, and uses their components to construct fresh replacements. Imagine an old fleet of trucks where some are working perfectly while others are sputtering, burning extra fuel and occasionally colliding with the trucks beside them. Pull the broken ones off the road. The whole fleet immediately moves faster, consumes less, and runs cleaner. People who consistently reach stage 4 describe their energy as feeling categorically different. Not more, but cleaner, steadier, less dependent on the next meal to keep it going. The metabolism has been upgraded structurally from the inside. If this is connecting for you, tap like so I know to keep going this deep on the next one. Stage 5. Almost nobody reaches stage 5 on purpose, and that is part of why so few people experience what it offers. From hour 24 to about hour 36, 2 new processes come online. The first is called xenophagy. This is autophagy aimed specifically at foreign material that has accumulated inside your cells over the years. Damaged viral particles, bacterial fragments, pathogens that slipped past your normal immune defenses and have been sitting in cellular hiding ever since. Your immune system is excellent at patrolling the spaces between cells, but the interior of a cell is a much harder environment to police. Xenophagy is your cellular janitor for that interior space, and it only activates at this depth of fasting. The second event is a deep quality control sweep of your stem cell reserves. Stem cells are your body's repair team, undifferentiated cells held in reserve that can transform into whatever specialized cell a tissue needs. Research from Stanford has shown that the regenerative capacity of stem cells is directly tied to how deeply autophagy is allowed to run. Deeper autophagy means healthier stem cells, and healthier stem cells mean a greater ability to repair tissue everywhere in the body. At this point in the fast, hunger has typically vanished. Not suppressed, not white-knuckled, just absent. Your body has stopped expecting food and has fully shifted into running on its own reserves with surprising stability. Stage 6. This is the rarest stage, the deepest level, and the one most closely associated with the biology of people who age slowly. From hour 36 and extending beyond hour 48, a process called chaperone-mediated autophagy switches on. This is no longer bulk cleanup. This is precision repair at the level of single molecules. Specialized escorts called chaperone proteins find individual damaged proteins, recognize them by specific molecular tags, and personally walk them into the lysosome to be processed. Each broken protein is handled one at a time. Your cell has shifted from clearing rooms to restoring individual artifacts. Yoshinori Osumi won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2016 for unraveling the mechanisms of autophagy, and his research points directly to this depth as the kind of cellular maintenance most consistently observed in studies of the longest-lived, most metabolically resilient, and most cognitively intact populations in the world. Here is what becomes obvious once you understand all 6 stages. Your biology does not respond to how many hours you fast. It responds to the conditions you create across those hours. 2 people can fast for the same length of time and end up at completely different stages because what mattered was the meal that came before, the movement that did or did not happen during the fast, and the way the fast was eventually broken. A heavy carbohydrate dinner the night before delays stage 2 by an hour or more because your liver glycogen takes longer to deplete. Breaking your fast with sugar or refined carbohydrates reactivates mTOR instantly and halts every running autophagy process mid-task. Sitting still for the entire fast slows the metabolic switch from glucose to fat and traps you somewhere between stages 1 and 2 when you could have moved deeper. 3 small adjustments change everything. 20 minutes of light walking between hours 10 and 14, a final meal centered on protein and fat rather than carbohydrates. Breaking the fast with eggs, fish, or another whole protein before any carbohydrates touch your plate. None of these require fasting a single minute longer than you already do. The deeper stages have always been there. The difference between someone who reaches stage 2 and someone who reaches stage 4 is not discipline, and it is not genetics. It is knowing what the biology is asking for and giving it exactly that. Which stage do you think your fasts have been reaching? Leave a comment below, because I want to see where most people are getting stuck. And if you want to know which foods continue to support autophagy even during your eating window, so the repair work keeps going when you are not fasting, that video will be waiting for you. Your body has not been broken. It has been waiting for the right information. Now you have it. Subscribe so the next piece finds you when it lands.